Take a look at this thing. This is Live Target's new fleeing shrimp. It's a small soft plastic lure it's got like spinnerbait skirt coming out the back end of it and a little custom designed jig head that just makes it so easy to fish with and really effective when you're chasing flathead. Yep. Oh, yep, I got it. Look at this. Yes! Let me show you what I'm using. I'll just pop the hooks out. And it should be fairly easy because it's made of a weedless little hook. It's one of these new fleeing shrimp from Live Target. Look at the attention to detail on that little sucker. The little legs just move around in the tide. I've got a little pushing in tide here and a beautiful jig head system. I've just sort of lifted that hook a little bit. I got a tip from Peter who helps get these things into the shops, and he's like, you can just lift that hook a little bit and it helps with your hook up rate, and he didn't miss that. Let's keep showing it around. Yeah, I'll give you a look at it and just get it straight back in the water. Come here, little floody. Yep, I got one. Great stuff. Here's another one. On the Live Target fleeing shrimp. These things are dynamite. Not sure if you can see the flickering bait out here for the boat traffic, but there's a heap of maybe small tailor, like baby tailor or big herring school out the front here. I want to see if there's some flathead underneath it. Oh, look at them. Climbing all over something. Tides just turned and started to run in, and often it's the face of the flats that cop the brunt of it. I've been fishing right up in the shallows this morning chasing some flathead, but with this tide change the fish are sort of, I've watched them spinning around like literally, and the rays are the most obvious to watch. As soon as that tide changes, the rays will spin around and reposition, so I've sort of been following them around, just watching, seeing how they're moving and behaving, and I've got onto a couple of nice little flathead in the same fashion, just repositioning my boat, changing things up. That's right on top of that bust up, see if it wants this shrimp. Yep, I got it. Yes! Oh, dropped it. Ah. The wind has just picked up, like literally in the last 5 minutes, and the tide's turned, and so there's action just happening now. There was about 5 boats on this flat about 5-10 minutes ago, and I think just because the tide changed and nothing happened, it was real quiet, they've all just left, so I'm literally the only one on here. And it's all just starting to come to light. Yep, I'm on. Again. Oh, mate. This live target fleeing shrimp is just caning them. Where was that in my Flatty Classic? Now, these are smaller fish. Most of them are legal. Off you go, mate. But I did a video about 2 weeks ago on the best lures for kids, and this is the new guy in town, I reckon. The live target fleeing shrimp. It's got that appeal for catching fishermen, so I reckon your kids are going to love to look at it and play with it. But to fish it, it's really simple. And I'm just trying a few different techniques. I'm doing little shakes of the rod tip, just leaving it there, just driving it along the ground, like just because of all of those little legs and then the skirt that comes out the back, it's got plenty of action. And when the tide starts to move, a little bit of movement with the water across these flats, it gets those little arms and the skirt moving, and these flathead are just climbing all over it. Heaps of fun to fish with, eh? Yep, he's on. Got him. Oh, this is a great little searching lure. Just to find, whoop, there he goes. Like, I'm fishing pretty quick and I'm just searching for fish, just having fun with this thing, trying to work it out, understand the best actions, how to fish it. And what I'm sort of noticing is you can cover a lot of ground with this thing and try and work the spots out, because these big open expanses of flat, the flathead definitely move around and park themselves up in different areas during the tide changes and wind conditions. So having a great searching lure is a big player. Let me talk you through how I like to fish it. I've got a 7 foot, like a medium action rod. That just allows me to get big, long searching casts and then really feel any of the pickups that these flathead have. And that's what's happening when I'm fishing this thing. They're really quick to come over and grab it, and you just feel that little tink, and then you can set the hook. So I've crimped the barb down just because it's starting to get a few numbers, and then those little flathead in the boat going nuts. It's just easy to pop them off and either release them, or if you want to keep those pan-sized fish, you're going to get a few fishing with this thing. Oh, just got hit then. But it's a really easy lure to fish. It's got that jig head that just pulls it down into the sand, but perches it up in a really natural shrimp position. And I think the flathead are just seeing that and coming straight over and grabbing it. So the weight in it's enough so you can get really good casts, and it doesn't really catch up on the weed. So the profile on it, this kind of solid body profile, the rounded body tends to move the weed out of the road of the hook. So I'm not really catching much weed as I'm bringing it through it all and hopping it around through patches. And some of the action that I'm imparting on it that's been really effective is just like a little slow windy shutter. And that's just getting it to crawl along the bottom like a little shrimp, sort of backing along the sand or the mud. And then I just sit it there, and then I'm getting ticks, and away you go. So super effective, and it's really easy on the eye. I mean, all of the design features, the attention to detail with the soft plastic, the finish on it, particularly in this colour. Like, have a look at that. In clear water and up on the shallows, it's got everything going for it. You might be able to see that the flathead have started to try and pull away at that, because they go nuts once you get them on. But look at that profile. So I'm just fishing with 8-pound braid to a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader, and just bringing it in on a 2500 Stratic. And that's a great setup for chasing flathead over the flats. You can cast all day, nice and easy, and just running a really smooth drag. So if I pull one of those bigger fish, it's just going to take off and I'm not going to pop the hooks. there's a couple of lures that if you see bait bust up, you can throw on top and bang, anything will just reaction bite it, and that's what was happening with this little fleeing shrimp. So it's one of those lures that you could have on your rod the whole time, and if you see something, you can just throw straight onto it and you can get that bite. So they're a lot of fun to fish. It doesn't get snagged up too much. You can drag it through the weed, and it's super effective on those school flathead. It's the Live Target fleeing shrimp.